In all of this, we as a church are engaging in social analysis, which means that we begin with our experience, whatever personal and or shared experience, and we try to see what's going on in that experience. What's going on politically, culturally, economically, what's going on in this situation. Remember, as a church, we're into naming sin and injustice. Okay? So first we have to get the lay of the land. How is this institutional organization set up? Interestingly, we're creatures of habit, and so we become accustomed to unjust social situations without even realizing it. You know, I was a part of the Roman Catholic Church for many years, knowing that injustices were perpetrated against women, not allowing them to be part of ministry, but at the same time thinking that one day I could be part of helping to reform the church when Pope Francis is one day elected years from now. Wasn't elected soon enough. But you know how it is that there's certain reform that needs to come to various sinful and or unjust structures. So we begin with the social analysis. We seek to understand, to reflect on, to scrutinize the data of our experience. And so then we start asking questions about the structures. If we're analyzing the political structure, we start asking questions about, for instance, who has power in the structure. Think about the church, for instance, right? In the church, who has power in the church? Why is it they who have power in the church? What kind of power do they have? Who benefits from their power? Who loses out as a result of their power? How are other people affected? What informal power structures exist? How do people acquire power? And how does it come about that some people have power and others don't? Like the men versus the women in the Roman Catholic Church. How is it that all the men have power and the women don't? And what's our role in all of that? What's my role in all of that? Questions about economic structures. What are the important resources? Who has the resources? Who gains or loses from how they're distributed? Remember, that's distributive justice at St. Thomas Aquinas. Who decides how those resources are distributed? All that has to do with justice. Questions asked about cultural structures. Remember, culture is the software of the mind, how it is that different people are programmed. Different people are programmed in different ways by different cultures. So the questions we would ask are, how do people describe this situation, whatever's happening? What values are at stake at them? What's important to them? A quinceañera, is it really about having a second, what is it that's really happening in a quinceañera? Persons from one culture will look at that from one perspective. People from another culture will look at it in a very different perspective. For them it might be about family and bringing people together for a celebration of their daughter, etc. Other people again say, how can you continue to oppress women through that rite, that debutante ball, in which you're essentially advertising that your daughter is old enough now to be married off and become the mother of someone's children. Different ways of viewing different situations. Cultural analysis, part of our own social analysis. And then as part of that, we simply make explicit our reasoning process. When we take a look at all of this, then let's make explicit what it is that we're thinking or believing about all of this. So that's the social analysis, and then theological reflection comes as well. And theological reflection then is simply us bringing our faith into that. We're not just looking at these political and cultural and economic structures from whatever viewpoint. No, we are looking at them from Catholics, Christians. We are Catholics and Christians looking at these things and making a judgment about how good or bad, right or wrong they are. And so theological reflection then would invite us to bring in our faith tradition, our beliefs, and that would inform the judgment that we make about those situations. And whatever judgment we make about them ultimately informs our actions. Remember that adage, see, judge, act, right? In Latin American liberation theology, there are 3 points. See, judge, act. Look at a situation, figure out what's going on, judge it. Is it right, wrong, good, bad, etc.? And you've got a responsibility to do something. Because if it's wrong, then the question becomes, what falls to us then? What do we have to be doing as a result of coming to realize that something is not right? That's Catholic social justice.